First things first, Scott, how are you?
I'm fine, a little sleepy. First day of tour, jet lagged out.
Okay. Well, before we talk about the music, I'd like to begin in the beginning. Do you have a first musical memory?
You know, when I was a little kid, I guess going to the record store the first time with my dad, and he bought a Lightning Hopkins record, and I remember that. That's probably the earliest memory. Either that or looking at my dad's King Crimson record cover with the guy who's going sticking his tongue.
And then if we take Lightning Hopkins, I don't know what age you were, but did you like his music at that point?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. You know, I guess in the long run, my biggest influence became the blues. You know, so yeah, definitely Lightning Hopkins. I actually woke up in the van the other day. We were driving in Texas, and I woke up in Centerville, Texas, at the gas station, and I was like, oh shit, this is where Lightning Hopkins is from. That's pretty cool.
And did you grow up in a musical household? Did your father play a lot of records?
Oh, my dad, yeah, he's probably responsible for my biggest music influences. Like when I was a kid, just playing different shit for me all the time, and my uncles had a band,
Okay.
Mile High, and then my grandmother's brother, my older uncle, he saw that the name of the band was Mile High, and they had painted it on the side of this trailer, and my uncle went out there and spray painted over the word high. So then it was just said mile.
What music did they play?
You know, like ZZ Top sound and stuff, you know, Southern rock, I guess.
And when did you go from listening and seeing all this to wanting to play yourself?
You know, my aunt and uncle always had guitars laying around when I was a kid and pianos and everything. So, you know, by the time I was like 6 years old or so, I was always picking up their guitars and tinkering around on their pianos and stuff like that. So, but I didn't really, you know, start seriously playing anything until I was around 14 or so.
And what changed at that point?
Puberty.
Were you writing then from that point on your own material as well? Or just...
Yeah, I guess I started writing songs when I was about 13 or 14. They were pretty bad songs, but you know.
Do you remember what compelled you to write?
No. It was just fun, you know. That's pretty much still the reason why I do it, you know. Other than I have to pay my bills, and I have to do it.
But when you start on a song, do you start with the lyrics then, or do you start with the music first and then make it a song? I'm
just constantly, you know, playing different stuff on my guitar and singing different words and making up lyrics, and you know, I have really crazy dreams, so I write a lot of, like, when I wake up real early, and if I like wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I just you know, try to write something down real fast while I'm still kind of in that dream state, and it makes me, I don't know, it's just a little more out there.
Have you been surprised by yourself the next morning to see what you've written?
No, not necessarily surprised, but satisfied. You know, a few times I've written some songs in 5 minutes. You know, those are the best songs that I've written, I think, are the ones that I write in 5 minutes at 4 o'clock in the morning, or just whenever, you know, on the toilet or whatever. But and then there's songs that, you know, I have to like work on for a year or more, you know, or put it down and forget about it and then bring it back later, and those are the kind that piss me off.
But what makes you stick with them then?
You know, when you have like a quality lyric or a quality hook or a quality guitar riff, you know, you don't want to let it go. You think, oh, you know, you just know that this is good music right here. But sometimes you don't have all the pieces, you know, and sometimes it just takes some work to put it together. It's just the ones that take a lot of work. Sometimes those are the ones that they either don't come out that great, or by the time I have it written, I'm sick of playing it. So I don't know.
Well, if we take the latest record, then Nothing But Blood, is there one on there that was kind of a struggle that way?
The first song on the record, Slow
Okay.
and Easy, yeah. It was, you know, the reason I put it first on the record is because it was the best one, the best production out of the recordings I came out with. I thought it was a good, you know, one to start the record with. But as far as the song went itself, it was like, I had, you know, the song from here to here for a long time, and I was like, this needs a bridge. This song needs like a change up in the middle somewhere. I just couldn't come up with something. Finally, I just made something up and said, okay, that's it.
What pushed it over the edge then? What made it work for you?
Just getting that extra part in there, you know. It was, I don't know, that's one of those songs that had to squeeze the sponge really hard to get it to come out, man.
Where did it originate, the song? What was the inspiration for it?
The first lyric in the song is walking through the woods as a child, come upon some pages on an old brush pile, torn up pictures of some people getting wild, wonder why it stayed with me so long. That's like about when I was a kid and I was walking around on my grandparents' property out, and they had just moved out there. I was walking around in the woods. I found this old torn up pictures of like a torn up porno magazine, you know, and it seemed like it was an old lady on there. And I don't know, just every once in a while that little memory shows back up again in my head, and I just always wonder why it was such a big deal for me to keep a memory like that in my head.
But do these songs then often originate from personal things that you've experienced or see in the world?
Yeah, a lot of the time. You know, a lot of my songs are about being on the road and traveling and moving along and you know, whether it's about me like actually being on the road because we play music, you know, and that stuff, or it's just the feeling I have inside to constantly keep moving. You know, if I'm home too long, I start freaking out. If I'm on the road too long, I start wanting to go home, though.
Do you know why you have this restless feeling?
No.
Was it always from an early age that you always wanted to move around?
No. I think, you know, when I was in college and we started traveling around, going camping and going to different states in the U.S. and things like that, and I don't know, it's a definitely restless feeling though, you're right about that. I don't know, man.
And then so this I believe
Running
you play
away from something.
Well, is that the case? Or
Sure.
well, I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
But well, the touring life, because I believe you play at least 200 shows a year or so. So does that make it a lot easier just to live that way?
Yeah, well, the one thing about, I mean, I don't think I play 200 shows a year anymore. I think it's more like 100. Yeah, I think I play a little less, like more like 120 or something a year now. But I'll tell you one thing about being on the road. It's like you go every night is like, especially if you're headlining the show, it's like your own birthday party every night. You know what I mean? And whatever trouble you get into, you just move to the next town the next night anyway, so it doesn't, you know, you can just get away with all kinds of shit.
Is there one thing you can share, maybe?
No, man. I mean, we just you know get drunk and act crazy sometimes, and yeah, you know, I think last year. We're like, it happens to my roadies like, uh-oh, it's happening again. And there I am on the roof of the hotel naked again, climbing out the window, smoking weed and sloshing beer all over the place. But no,
Okay.
there's no stories I want to tell you.
Fair enough.